Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just want to do a follow-up video to my last video where I posted about my health. And this is just kind of like a reference, I guess, for people who may be going through what I was, and just to kind of see the progress. That's almost 2 weeks now. And so, it's just how it's working, and so actually it's exactly 2 weeks. And so, I initially was worried about having a kidney stone, which, again, the more I've looked into it, it's just a horrifying pain. And then, I asked people about it. And then, I've heard, a few stories, personal stories, if I'm just, getting my hair cut or like taking an Uber or Lyft, I'll bring this topic up sometimes. So, it's bad, and then I was actually driving with a guy, and then he said that his son, at a young age, had, serious, kidney problems. And I think he had to get one removed. So, and then he was actually feeling some back pain as well. And he was worried it was the kidney. So I recommended him the herb that I've been taking for the last 2 weeks. And so it's scary, for sure. I mean, any real health problem can be scary and get scary quickly, but definitely, the kidneys, I would say the back, and looks like even severe gastritis is very, very painful, because I've gone on, Reddit, message boards about gastritis and kidney stones, and it's bad, and gastritis is scary as well. Not the acute form, I don't think, because that's what I believe I just went through, but the chronic version of it is can be really, really painful, because your stomach is just way out of balance. And then there's a lot of really acids and stuff in there that are sloshing around and, ruin everything, because really ultimately your stomach and then any other pain signals completely govern our mood. And so, they both can get bad. And I'm glad I, had this little bout really of it, just to kind of make me aware, of my body. And so that's, again, what this video is for. Just, what I've been doing, and I've been very consistent for the last 2 weeks, every day, following the herbal remedy, Chunka Pedra, the stone breaker, doing that twice a day faithfully every day. I didn't miss it. And so my routine in the morning was an apple and probiotic. I use kefir and then another probiotic, kind of alternated the two. I don't want to keep using the same brand as well. And so that's what I've been doing every morning. That's the first thing that I eat. It goes into my body is a probiotic and a banana. And it's just a great way to start the day, just in general. You don't feel full for a while, and then that it's what your body needs, more, definitely your stomach. And then I would do the stone breaker, Chunka Pedra, because there's a little bit of acid in that, because I'm taking it with apple cider vinegar, or it feels acidic. And so I wanted something there to coat it prior to taking it. And then, that was my morning routine, and it's going to continue to be my morning routine. And so that's it's been really good. So I'm pretty sure at this point that at least that pain that I was feeling, underneath my left rib cage, was stomach related. I can say that pretty confidently at this point, because it was governed based on what I was eating or not eating. And sometimes when I was hungry, so the first thing that happened during that time is you lose your appetite. And so I just didn't really think about food. And I guess that's the stomach's way of saying, be more careful about what you're eating. Don't just eat whatever you want. And so that, I thought, was just an interesting way, our body works. And I've never experienced that kind of feeling. I've always had a fairly low appetite just in general, but I've never had it completely kind of flatline, where I just didn't really think about food and the need to eat. And so I've lost quite a bit of weight, and then, I can kind of see my stomach again, which is good. And then apparently the apple cider vinegar as well is good for just burning fat that is stored, that's unnecessary. And so that's, one of the symptoms of gastritis. And then, my pain would be dependent on what I was eating. So if it was a pain related to the kidneys or something else, it likely would be constant, or let's say it was actually your back. your back doesn't care, like, you know, whether you're sleeping or not, or like what time of day it is. It's just, if there's pain, there's pain. You know, let's say the disc is touching a nerve or something, it's going to be painful, you know. And I've had a bulging disc in my neck in the past, and it was not incredibly painful per se, but, you know, it was just a constant sort of awareness, you know, that something wasn't right. And it was even throughout the night, so you can't sleep. And it's just a very, very weird thing to go through. But, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, this was very much like stomach related, like what I was eating or not eating. And then there were times where if I didn't eat, then it, you know, I kind of sensed that there was like too much acid really. And then it was affecting the part of my stomach that was inflamed. And so I had to eat something, and then it would get better. And so during those times, I would recommend people, if they're going through something similar to me, is the next thing you should probably want to eat is something like a probiotic, which will coat the stomach, or at least that's the way it feels, or a cabbage, which is what I was eating, and I still eat, you know, to this day. And so I don't think you should like, just don't eat like a ton. This is my strategy. I just didn't like eat a ton of something that was good, because then our body's like, what are you doing? And I don't want to throw it off balance in another way. So I would buy like a bag, two bags of this red cabbage. And so then I would put it in a Tupperware container, and then make it a goal to eat that, like, let's say 1 bag a week. And so, you know, I would like snack on it, you know, here and there, and then put a little bit in my snack bag for the golf course with raw bell peppers. And so, but in general, if I had that feeling, then I would eat the cabbage first. I want that to go in there, because apparently that's really good, just in general, for gastritis. That food is just loaded with all these good things for the stomach to rebalance it. And so, you know, I'll continue to do that. I'm still going to do that, even though I don't have that discomfort anymore. And so very much likely at this point, because I didn't get any, you know, medical intervention or checkup, that issue underneath my rib cage was stomach related. And so then, you know, I just sort of allowed my diet to sort of correct it. I always had 1 banana every day at least. And so most days I had 2. And then I would buy 2 big, you know, bundles of bananas. And then I put the other one in the fridge, and I, you know, just did some stuff online, how to preserve them longer, and putting them in the fridge preserves bananas longer. They'll still get brown and stuff on the outside, but on the inside, they'll still be fresh, you know, and all that. And I kind of prefer eating them actually when they're a little bit cold. So that's a strategy for people who want to do a 2 banana a day thing, but they don't want to eat like soft, you know, squishy bananas, which is disgusting. Unless you want to blend them or something like that. But I didn't want to blend anything, because like I want to eat the actual food. You know, I don't want to blend like cabbage or anything like that. Like that's probably going to taste gross, but I wanted to eat the food. And so I stuck to that, you know, because I do have a personal like blender thing, but like I wanted to like make sure that I'm eating food, unless it's like obviously like a liquid, like the kefir and all that. But you know, that's crucial. Just in general, 2 bananas, like you can even probably eat 3 or 4, and then every day, and your body will be like, great, thank you for that. You know, like that's how good bananas are. And I would have maybe an apple like every other day or something. I didn't want to have too much like acidic feelings, and for whatever reason, it's easier for me to banana than an apple. And so, because I was getting a lot of the acidicness from the apple cider vinegar and all the other stuff I was doing for my kidney, so I kind of took it easy on the apples. But you know, definitely a banana every day I've had for the last 2 weeks, and 2 servings of the Stonebreaker, the Chunka Pedra, 1 in the morning and then 1 at night. And then the 1 at night, I would use the capsule form, you know, the powder form, and then mix it with celery juice. And so I just chug it. I don't even boil the water anymore. You know, I just drank the water room temperature, and then put the capsule in, and then put the celery juice in. I just chugged it. And so that's what I was having at the end of the day. And, you know, just to kind of give my kidneys, you know, something good to work with later, you know, later in the day and while I'm sleeping. And so, you know, that's something I'm not going to change, you know, at all. And so I haven't had any negative effects from that. And I've also heard that the Chunka Pedra herb is known to be good for the stomach as well. And so I was just doing all these things to sort of promote healing in the stomach, and then, you know, just drinking this liquid regularly for the kidneys. And so I would have about 1 or 2 of those 2-liter bottles of water every day. and then I spike it with lime juice and lemon, and sometimes both. I just mix it up. Sometimes, I'll spike my water that I'm bringing to the golf course with pomegranate juice. And so I just constantly mix it up, when it comes to the fluids. And so, that's been a foundational element, for certainly, to help my kidneys. And so I noticed a very small, like maybe once or twice tingling feeling, but nothing that was substantial. But you should sort of, in a way, want that, because obviously if your kidneys are healthy, and you don't have any stones forming at all, then you will not experience that. But whenever you take this stone breaker, you may experience that, and then so don't fret, because you'd rather have a little bit of pain kind of regularly, like hopefully not regularly, but spread out, than deal with a stone being passed as it is. You don't want that. Okay. And so if you do sense a little bit of tingling, especially when you're doing this proper liquid flush, then you may be actually passing very, very small stones. And so that's good. And so eventually you should ideally not have that really ever. And so that's why I wanted to do this update 2 weeks later, because I wanted to really see what was going on, in my kidneys, if there was anything there that, will be problematic. And so I'm not going to let up on the 2 a day. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about the lack of, good tastingness or whatever. It just doesn't matter. And so I would just highly recommend, first do it slowly, just in case your body needs to get used to that herb. Just like anything, if you're introducing it new, don't just go all in. But, certainly if you do have a stone or feel like you are in that position, you're, at risk, then, you can do maybe what I'm doing, where you do 2 servings a day. And I don't see any reason for me to not do at least 1 a day, every day. And so, it's not something you want to have issues with, and I would say at this point, it's likely my gastritis was acute, because they say it's acute if it's 2 to 10 days. And mine was almost exactly 10 days, that it took for it to not have that feeling anymore. And so I would just recommend for people, and this is a warning to myself, don't use this to now just go and eat whatever you want. Okay, so I have introduced sweets back into my diet, but don't go overboard. There was a temptation after this started to heal where I started wanting to eat a lot, because you've had a suppressed appetite for 10 days, 14 days, and then now you just want to eat all the time, because your brain is now, your stomach, like, okay, it's getting better now. But I had to resist that. But I don't think it's wrong to have a little bit of sweets. I would say don't drink like Coke or anything like that. Like, I'm not drinking any sugary drinks anymore, no Gatorade, or I was really into Arnold Palmer's. The nice thing about Arnold Palmer's, which is the one redeeming aspect of Arnold Palmer's, is that they have lemonade, and I worry that they're just flavored drinks, but you may get some benefit from drinking a half iced tea, half lemonade concoction. But it's better, if you're going to drink any of those sugary drinks, is to have lemonade, in it. And so that's what I would recommend. And so the nice thing about me is I really, really like Chipotle. And the great thing I love about the Chipotle that I eat at downtown is that it has a typical fountain drink, section. But it also has a separate drink station with like real drinks, they literally design it for people who maybe are dealing with kidney stones. They literally have like a lemonade, which actually tastes like a real lemonade, not like a flavored one. And so then they have another one, which different types of like juices, like pomegranate juice, and one that actually has apple cider vinegar in it. Can you imagine that? So this is one, company that actually seems to slightly care about people's health. And so I would just go to that drink station and just, I would dilute it with water, which I would recommend, because you don't want like an excessive amount of sugar. But I pretty much gave myself freedom to drink, even two if I wanted, or whatever of that, mix it up, put the different, drinks together, lemonade and, the other one and all that. And so, that's, that's not bad, Probably ideally it's better to take water and then spike it with like a little bit of lime or whatever. But, don't go to like the fountain drink station or anything like that. And I'm not going to, and I don't miss it, or I don't really care about that. Another thing I learned too is that from these, doctors on YouTube, so this is coming from them, not me, is that you also don't want to drink a ton of fluids while you're eating, because then that water can go in there and actually dilute those chemicals, that are needed to break down your food. And this is, again, nothing that I've ever been taught, but it makes sense throughout my life. So I just eat the food, as it is. You definitely don't want to drink fountain drinks with it, but not even really water, and that kind of thing. You can drink the water before, it's better before, a little bit. It'll even help you suppress your appetite a bit so you don't overeat, but not really close to when you're digesting, because again, those chemicals are needed to, get at that food. And I realized that that's probably partially what caused me those issues as well, is that I would snack on little things throughout the day, and at times those snacks would be unhealthy. And so when you're putting a little bit of food in your body, and then you may be drinking that snack with like a sugary drink, and then you might think it's a fairly innocent snack, but your body then will put a bunch of chemicals in there, and then it needs to, because it's breaking down foreign food. And then you could be diluting it with that fountain drink type thing, and then it throws all your chemicals out of whack, and then you get inflammation, which is, I suspect, what was happening to me, because I literally felt that pain when I was eating peanuts, and so it was a small snack close to dinner time, and then my stomach was preparing probably for a meal, but all it got were like peanuts, and so, and things like a Gatorade and stuff like that. So again, I can't prove that, but that's likely what's been happening, for a while, certainly with me. My diet has not been great, but throughout my life, but that makes sense, just from like a chemicals in the stomach perspective. So, that's the way I've sort of rebalanced things. So, pretty much the only places that I eat now are Chipotle, Salada. I eat Indian food again, I just maybe like once a week or something. I don't like the spice, but it doesn't irritate my stomach. Salada, Chipotle, that, and then, here in Houston, like, tacos and stuff. What else have I been eating? Yeah, that's pretty much it, and then I like these shawarma, this Middle Eastern food. And so most of the stuff is okay in it. They do have these sauces, which I'm assuming are not good for you, but for the most part is like actual real food in there, like lettuce and stuff like that. So, that kind of thing. I did eat like a fried chicken burger recently that was air fried. It tasted great, had good toppings on it, like carrots and different things, but I don't know if I'm going to do that again. As much as I enjoyed the meal, I don't think my body wants that, So this is where you got to like sort of experiment with foods. Like if I eat Chipotle, my body has no issues with it. I feel good. And then I get, good things like calcium in there from the cheese. And so you want to get that from an actual meal. And so, and Salada is like a make on demand salad place, and my stomach has no issues with that. So, I don't want to, take 2 steps forward and like 3 steps back kind of thing. So, I may try it again, maybe next month or something, and see, if my stomach is in a better position to receive that type of meal. Because, it was good. It was just a really tasty burger that actually had like fairly healthy things on it, like carrots and kind of like a coleslaw and then that kind of thing. So it wasn't like, a cheeseburger or anything like that. So, but, again, it could have been something that I ate before that, but it didn't feel right. So I'm going to, not do that for a little while. But, again, I've just been sort of keeping, a pretty constant thing about the foods that I'm eating are like something real. And then I would just recommend people to do the banana thing, and if the apple thing, if you could eat probably 1 or 2 bananas and an apple a day, that would fix a ton of health problems, I suspect. First of all, you're not going to be very hungry, in the morning because you're starting off with a banana, and let's say you can add the probiotic. And so you're already off to a better start, because then your mind will not think about food till you should, until lunchtime or so. And then you won't be as hungry when you eat and just be scarfing down, garbage, which we all can do. So, that's a good foundation, element. And I have a feeling that if I did that for my whole life, I would be very, very healthy, because the apple is great for the kidneys. It's also great for the stomach, for digestion. And then the bananas are great for the stomach and good for the kidneys. So, just keep that there. And then the Stonebreaker is just, it's like a good flush, mechanism to catch the residuals. But ultimately, the main thing I suspect that has helped the most is the correct amount of water. You maybe don't want to drink during the meal, but the stomach needs, water. And then obviously the kidneys, and then the apple, and then the bananas has been really good. And then the cabbage has been good for the healing part. But, if it's good for healing, then your body needs it all the time. And so, I'm going to keep those as sort of the, foundational elements. Whatever I eat outside of that, keep it not disgusting, but keep those as my core. And again, I don't really have a big appetite. So if I were to eat 2 bananas, an apple, snack on some cabbage and some bell peppers, that's already a lot. And then I'm drinking 2 of these jugs of water. That's like, for me, that's like, I just need one more meal, and then maybe one sweet as like a reward. So, I would limit it to like 1 cookie, or like, I'm really into cupcakes. So like, maybe just eat 1. Don't eat like 5. If you probably will feel that after you eat for a while, you may want to go to that and stuff, and then just don't eat pizza and stuff like that, which again, I've ate regularly throughout my life. But there's actually a pizza place, here in my building. So it's like, I don't really like it, but that one, but it's like, don't eat that kind of stuff. This is what I'm going to keep trying to do. And so, it's, still, I would say you don't have to go too like strict and stuff. I do eat fish, almost daily, either salmon or tilapia. And so, that's good, and then I coat it with, garlic and ginger. So I literally blend garlic and ginger with water into an ice cube, and then I freeze them. And so whenever I, am cooking the fish, I'll just put 2 cubes of that on the fish and just let it all sort of melt, and then on it. And then, don't put like butter or anything to like, on it. Just use like olive oil or something like that, and then as the non-stick agent. And so, I do eat that. I wouldn't overdo these things. Like, I have to be careful with that. I still want to like mix it up, and stuff, but you can't you don't need to mix it up with like a banana. That's like, will always be good for your body. And so, you don't have to worry. Your body's not going to be like, hey, like mix it. I'm tired of the banana, or whatever. It's like it needs that, to do what it needs to do. Another thing I've noticed too in this last couple of weeks is that I sleep a little bit better. I can't measure that, but I wake up like, it's more like direct, it's not like a groggy, like, hey, it's like, I feel alert, right away, and so again, I don't really do anything because I'm not working, but, it's an interesting thing, and then I do notice my dreaming has been more frequent, and so I can remember them, which maybe I'm dreaming all the time, but I think there's just in general some benefits, with sleep, because your body is just constantly getting good things throughout the day. And so it's kind of like you don't give it like extra homework to do, at night to clean up and fix things. So I'm not stressing them out. And so it's a good feeling, and then my stomach, I literally almost looked like I was bearing a child, and stuff. Like, it's not good, like really like a couple of weeks ago, because, that's where it's storing, all those fats and stuff. And so that's, a lot of that's gone. I look smaller, and I've lost weight, and it's like weight that you don't want, on your stomach or anywhere. And so, that's just not helping. And so that's been really good, for the last couple of weeks. And so, I just feel more fit, without even necessarily doing more exercise or anything like that. So I am going to try and walk more when I play golf, not, just drive the cart all the time. And so that'll help, just to get more physical exercise, because I do sit around a lot. And so, these are all things that I would just recommend, for people, especially if you're around 40, because I've heard from other people that it's around this time where the stones can pop up, and I wouldn't be surprised if gastritis is the same thing. And so, but at this point, I would say that I've moved past the acute gastritis, because it's, I don't feel the symptoms anymore. But I would suspect that they can come back, any day, because they appeared on a random day. So why would they not be able to reappear? So, I would suspect if I continue eating these foods the way I am, I could have other health problems, of course, but I have a feeling that will prevent me from having that type of a gastritis, kind of thing. And so that's a good thing, and then I would say, I don't think 2 weeks is enough time to make a final decision on the kidneys, because, those stones could be there and they just leave whenever they want, and then you could still be healthy now, but you're still dealing with a backlog, which is what happens because they form over a period of time. So I wouldn't say I'm out of the woods on the kidney stones, but I would suspect that, let's say, all of next month, maybe I'll do an update video if there's anything that's changed, but I would suspect that another month of doing this flushing, that if I don't, feel the symptoms of a stone, then I didn't have one in the first place, or the whatever was there, I've dissolved it and then they're gone now. I think I need at least another month to be able to make that kind of a statement. But it's a good sign that in 2 weeks that, the urine has been like regular, and then, not like bright yellow or bloody or anything like that. So we don't want that. So that's where I'm at. So I would just recommend people, again, especially if you live in the South, when you're coming up on warmer weather, and this is a lecture to myself, is make sure to just always be drinking water and be peeing regularly, and so I have to make it a goal when I play golf, is to at least be peeing every 9 holes, which is still 2 hours, which is a long time. And so even that should be more than that, but, I have to drink enough, and so thankfully the course that I play at, the pace of play is slow, but there's not the best access to water. And so I do bring one jug, a thinner one, to the golf course, like I said, and I spike it with pomegranate juice or lemon lime or something. But I should ideally try and drink 2 of those amounts every 9 holes, at least the one. Okay. And so, and then when it gets hotter outside, increase it proportionally. So one thing that I did read that was good, it's not so much how much you drink, it's how much you're peeing, which will govern if you're drinking enough. And so you can drink a lot of water, but if you're not peeing enough, then that means that your body's holding it, and so, just count how well we're doing based on the number of times that we're peeing. And again, don't drink all the water in one sitting, because your body will not be able to use it. It'll just flush it all out. But, just measure it by the number of times, and then the clarity of it. And so that's good, and so if you take this stone breaker, and then at the beginning you start noticing the urine is like, smelling, or like it's a bit painful, then, keep trying it, and then that's good in that sense that your body's getting rid of something that it doesn't want, and so you may have discomfort, but as long as it goes away and stays away, then, you're probably heading in the right direction. So just want to give an update, and hope everyone's doing well. Bye.